Faiz Shakir is back with me. I told you his experience with Nancy Pelosi, along with Brendan Buck, former communications advisor to two other speakers, Ryan and Boehner. He's now an NBC political analyst. So, Brendan, I haven't heard from you this hour. Is McCarthy celebrating too soon? He's pretty confident he's got it. It seems like he does.
Yeah, I guess we never doubted him, did we? Yeah, no, it does feel like he's going to get there. The small number, I mean, this is the pressure you needed. Like, 20 is a lot of people to peer pressure. Yeah. This number is so small. I think there's a very good chance he gets there. It's a remarkable turnaround. And like this morning, just thinking this.
What do you think broke it?
I was surprised that it was as many as 20 that opposed him in the beginning.
You thought it was bigger than you thought?
It was bigger than I thought it was going to be, and it was a much bigger swing back the way direction towards him this morning. I think at some point you have to learn how to declare victory. I think some people realized, like we did, that this could be going on for weeks, and sometimes it's personal. You don't want to be doing this for weeks, and if you look for, like, people need an out. And there was an out, and they didn't know when the next out was going to be. This
wasn't obvious what else they could get.
It wasn't obvious what else they could get. So okay, if I want to get off this train at some point, this is my moment to get off of it. And I think they took it, and not quite there yet, but I think it's good for him to be in a good mood right now.
Outsider watching it, but I would say that there was a split in a strategy, to the extent they had any strategy to begin with, right, of the Gates crew. But at one point, I think they wanted to see whether you were really pro-McCarthy enough, and it was a test of wills. So the first strategy was to say, well, would a Jim Jordan or whoever else you want to, if we had a blind vote, do we think that our guy could trump him? And then it'd be a test of wills. Let's test their wills and find out how much McCarthy's got. And then I think at some point it started to shift and say, okay, well, now we got to do House rules and, like, get something out of this thing. And I think that's where they're going to...
I mean, they got a great deal. Like, let's be clear. They got a lot out of him. So if you were ever going to be able to say yes...
Well, I was just going to say, if Paul Ryan had be Speaker under these set of rules, what would it have meant?
Well, he was Speaker under maybe one of the biggest things, which is the motion to vacate set at 1. And that was what we lived under. It's what John Boehner lived under. It feels very inevitable at the end. This was always going to have to be the rule that he was going to live with. It's some of these other things that are very difficult.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
The Rules Committee is a big concern for me. I mean, we'll see how many members they are adding to the Rules Committee from this group, but if it's enough, it could block anything that Republicans want to bring up to the floor. Representation on other committees. Some of these spending bills, spending levels, I guess probably my biggest concern. And, I was there for John Boehner. I was there for Paul Ryan. In that changeover, some of the advice that John Boehner gave Paul Ryan was, you can promise effort, don't promise outcomes. And we have a situation where I'm a little worried that Kevin McCarthy is promising some outcomes, things that you can't control. Because even though you're Speaker of the House, you still need 218 votes to get there. And if he's promising, I can get you a debt limit deal that looks like this, or I can get you a spending levels that look like this, I don't know that you can promise that and actually achieve it. And that could come back and I guess it's a problem for another day, get through this. Right. But I worry a little for Kevin McCarthy that some of the promises he's made are not achievable on his own.
Nothing unifies the Democrats like the Republicans.
Well, I would say the best person coming out of it in many ways is Hakeem Jeffries. Like, you could have argued
that's
that,
what I was just going to... Right. Because he suddenly has a united...
Totally. Like, they voted how many... 13 times, 50 times over there. Like, to the extent that people were thinking about, okay, how's Hakeem Jeffries going to stand up, build the unity in this caucus? He's got everything. Summer Lee comes in, Greg Casar comes in, boom, I got my progressives, I got my old school.
I mean, that's my question.
I mean,
it's easy now.
But now, yeah, exactly. You lock it in. You lock it in with some degree of consensus, and it's his opportunity to shine. But now, I mean, people are always looking at the leader to say, is there a chink at a moment where you see a weakness? And I think that was McCarthy, and many people saw a weakness. But with Hakeem, I don't think anyone sees a weakness there.
So, how do we raise the debt ceiling? What's that going to look like?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, some of the conversation has been that use a discharge petition, which is...
That's what I assume.
Which is a mechanism
I am
where...
sorry that I have to say the phrase and that we have to explain it, but please do.
It is a process
Sounds
where...
like a medical condition.
If 218 members literally sign a petition that says, I want this bill to come up, even if leadership is blocking it, it automatically triggers a vote on a bill. So under this theory, all the Democrats would sign this petition to bring up a debt limit increase, plus a handful of Republicans who don't want to see this blow up. That's a really risky... I know this is a strategy that they're really, thinking about using, but it's really risky because it's completely out of your control. And you're basically saying, no, don't do that. Yes, please, someone go ahead and sign it. And that's not a real way to lead. I think you have to at least acknowledge, we do want the debt limit to be increased. But I don't know that he can say that. He certainly can't say it until he gets the votes.
Something that was intriguing to me this week, Faiz, was how much political capital Biden truly believes he has. And he used some of it this week on the border because he took some incoming on his decision to expand Title 42.
Right.
When you're getting praise from Manchin and criticism from Menendez and Alex Padilla, you know, you're doing a bit of triangulating there.
And then sat with Mitch McConnell, literally.
Right.
in Kentucky.
These are things that 6 months ago, a lot of progressives would have been screaming about. Now, right, he can... He's got some room to run.
It will be one of his legacies, among many, will be that Biden was a man for the moment offered to him by the state of the Republican Party. If you look at the Trump trajectory.
And you say this is somebody that you didn't think he was the man of the moment for you.
Well, I say that, right, exactly. The person of the moment. We know why he rose through the primary. We know why he rose to the general, why he's, I mean, in many ways, he didn't have to campaign in a general because of COVID. Right. Why is this guy doing so well? Because the state of the Republican Party has allowed him to basically conquer a state of decent, normal governance.
Brendan, how do the Republicans prevent this from looking like the same movie that I've covered for 30 years? Which is a Democratic president seeking re-election with a Republican House who goes too far. It re-elected Bill Clinton. It re-elected Barack Obama. Tell me how.
I've been saying this for months now. Yeah, I mean, the overreach is the biggest. Like, we're not going to overreach legislatively. I don't think, because we can't really do a whole lot. But some of these investigations, you know, going after Hunter Biden just looks crazy, and that's our biggest problem, is that we don't look like a serious party tackling serious issues. But that's not what the base wants, and so we're going to keep going down these rabbit holes. It's a great.
Just wait till the presidential primary start.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to add something to it.
Sanders has been quiet on that, by the way.
Oh yes, he has.
Pro Jim Jordan guy.
He has been extraordinarily quiet. It's like I'm like not even engaging at all.
No.
We'll see what happens when he has to engage. Faiz, Brendan, thank you both.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.